Last orders at the bar!
A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine. I'll say, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but for me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everything's going well for you guys that are listening in on this.
Yeah, good evening.
Mauler and I are here for another episode of Last Orders. So
A spooky episode.
Yeah, whoa.
October, ghosts.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to probably playing a bit of Silent Hill 2 after this. I started on it last night and it was very fun. So hopefully play a bit more. But yeah, it's been good so far. People were at me to play Astro's Playroom actually as well. They were like, it's got a Halloween level on it, okay? I feel like it doesn't have quite the relevance of Silent Hill for spooky goings on, but you know, maybe it's good.
Makes sense. I get it.
It's all ready to go on my computer either way, so I'll give it a try. But we are here right now to do super chats from Open Bar 115. So I'm just going to dive right in. And the first one here is from Cuban922, who says, Far Cry Blood Dragon stream Mauler to wash away Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, Far Cry Blood Dragon. I played that a decent amount when it came out, I think. This is an old one. You remember that game, right?
I don't think I do, actually. No. Blood Dragon. Is that an expansion pack for one?
I think it's standalone, but it's mostly based on, I want to say Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
But it's like a neon fucking futuristic thing where you play as Michael Biehn running around killing things, and there's loads of references to Terminator, Predator, Alien, and some other shit.
I mean, you had me playing Michael Biehn, like running around killing things. So yeah.
He, if I remember correctly, it's been so long since I played it, but you'll open it up, you'll have your gun and everything, and it'll be like, you know, press left thing to shoot. You have a target, and you'll shoot, and then Michael Biehn will be like, "I fucking hate tutorials."
I like that.
It's fun.
Waddle These Nuts says, who do you think is the better singer, Joaquin Phoenix or Russell Crowe? Russell Crowe's got an actual band that he tours with, hasn't he?
Well, I guess the question stands. Even if you have a band.
Yeah, I'm going to put my money on Russell.
You know what? I'll just be safe and do the same.
Jack Stringer says, are you excited for the new Wallace and Gromit film? I mean, it's always nice to have a Wallace and Gromit movie. I assume they're going to have to replace the voice actor for Wallace since he's passed away. So, yeah. What is it, a Christmas release or something? They tend to be.
Yeah, I haven't checked like a specific day. I just know that's happening. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm on board. Wallace and Gromit. It's great.
You know, it's like certain like movies just call up such a strong association for you. And for me, it's like being full of like post-Christmas dinner of like food and a bit tipsy and just watching Wallace and Gromit on Christmas Day. It's pretty good. I like it. Dipshit McGee says, what do you all think of House of the Dragon Season 2 overall? I've been told that it fell off a bit like Game of Thrones in the later seasons. That was a result of like cutting the number of episodes, wasn't it? They had to like trim out a lot of big climactic battles.
Yeah, something big should have happened at the end of Season 2 that's now going to be the beginning of Season 3, and that's going to affect everything. That little shoving around, it has done damage, but I still thought Season 2 was, you know, very interesting and engaging for a lot of different character journeys and stuff. It's just a step down from Season 1. You know, it's not like we've reached a point where I would say, well, it's fucked, don't watch it. But let's hope that doesn't end up happening, I guess.
Indeed. Kashakus says, Drinker, if you and Mauler do a So Bad It's Good movie arc on EFAP, I highly recommend Remo Williams with Fred Ward and Wilford Brimley. It's the room of espionage action thrillers. Yeah, I've heard about Remo Williams. People kept bringing it up, actually, when Fred Ward passed away. I think that was like one of his big sort of leading man gigs. And yeah, it's meant to be a bit of a cult classic at this point. Still haven't seen it, but a few people want me to watch and review it, so I'll give it a try. I will get round to it. Master of Puppets says, "Hail, I just finished watching EFAP Star Wars Outlaws supercut by Joe Danger 37. It was glorious seeing you all lose your minds, especially over the eating QTE. There's not actually a QTE for eating food, is there?
Not only is there, it is long. It's like a sequence you have to press 30 different QTEs. It's not.
Is it possible to fail? Can you like shove a fork into your eye or something?
If you press the wrong thing, your character just waits, waiting for you to press the correct thing. So,
wow, that's exciting stuff right there, man.
Oh yeah, it's the most coherent part of the game. So I'm glad they spent the time to make sure that part wasn't buggy.
Geo and Wares says, "Another shout out for the Outcast creative. I hear episode 79 is excellent. Thanks again for having Lance on. Always a pleasure. He's a good guy." Bobby Thrill says, "Howdy from San Antonio. What fine media have you gents been indulging in your free time? Fun fact, the Fight Club game is the only fighting game to feature Meatloaf as a playable character." Yeah, so most of the media that we watch, I suppose, we end up talking about. It's not like we kind of have our publicly facing media that we watch, and then like the stuff that we just watch in private that's just for our own amusement. You know, it's generally one for me, and I don't know if it is for you.
Well, it's more. I mean, I don't get to cover as much, but like none of it's a secret, you know. But I end up watching plenty of things that I don't end up covering. So, for example, the most recent thing I watched was Speak No Evil, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this movie?
I have. Yes.
Have you seen this movie?
No, I have not.
I would recommend it, even though there is an original version that is apparently better. I happen to see the 2024 one. It's a neat little horror movie. And James McAvoy is fantastic in it. Though he is fantastic in everything.
I was about to say, yeah, he's usually pretty reliable.
Yeah.
I suppose in terms of stuff that I've not talked about, on Netflix, I'm watching that documentary about Vince McMahon, like and all the shenanigans that went on behind the scenes at the WWE. Some of it I knew about, and some of it's kind of new. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's like halfway through filming this, because they were interviewing him about it. It was meant to be just a retrospective on his life. Then all the allegations about him emerged while they were filming the documentary, and so it obviously switches up a gear at a certain point. Like, yeah, things get real after that. But yeah, some crazy shit that went on in that organization. It's kind of a wacky world.
Yes.
Monkey Man says, "Do you guys prefer shows or movies? I prefer movies as they're more concise stories. As a dad with little time, long show stories are hard to keep going, in my opinion." I mean, on the time question, I suppose I kind of agree. Like, especially if I'm going to be reviewing things, I guess I would rather watch a 2-hour movie than like a 10-hour long season. You know, I mean, from that point of view. But I'd rather watch good stuff if it's any.
Of course, that I guess would be the answer. But there is a funny alternative of like, well, I prefer TV shows because I prefer to be able to have my time, you know, like 1 hour at a time at most, or you know, I can choose how long I can spend at any given time to progress through the story. But I get what they're saying. Like, you know, the story's completed after the movie, while a TV show could go on forever and ever and ever. It's just that hopefully a good TV show would give you a satisfying sort of story per episode, right? Like that's how
yeah,
it could treat you. So, you know, it's I find that if my choice is an excellent 10-season long TV show or an excellent movie, I probably would want the TV show, because I'd just be like, oh, more stuff.
More stuff to make me happy for longer before the inevitable shit stuff kicks in again. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'm still traumatized by that 3 episodes slog fest that I had to get through for Rings of Power, I think, for when the second season kicked off. We had open bar that night, so I had to straight up force myself to watch it. Actually, I was getting really like restless after about 15 minutes.
So rude of them to do that, seriously.
I know, it's like they were punishing me. John Thomas said, "Chappie was a good film that was mismarketed. Didn't think the ending was a cop-out. Explored several interesting concepts. Sentience, family, excessive governmental control. Hugh Jackman is a villain." I mean, That is a correct fact. Hugh Jackman is a villain in it, and he has a mullet, and he gets to play an Australian for once, so that probably made him happy. But yeah, I still think the ending was a cop-out. It would have been far more interesting if Chappie had sacrificed himself for the others. You know, it would have taken his character arc, the experience of life, like birth, growth, and ultimately death to its logical conclusion. But oh well, everyone had a happy ending, I suppose. Dragon Paul Z says, you got to trust me on this. Check out Eric Plays Star Wars Outlaws 3, timestamp 5/27/34. I mean, I can try it. Hold on.
Wait, what are we supposed to be seeing? Like,
I don't know.
Is this from a prior episode, perhaps, where we said it's impossible that something happened?
So I guess it's full stream number 3. Yeah, I'll see if I can bring it up in a second when the adverts are done.
Have you seen they're planning to introduce different tiers of ads, like different tiers of paying for YouTube Premium?
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, everyone's doing it.
All right, hold on. 5/27/30. Right, so it's in the canteen where it must be the eating QTE.
Ah.
Yeah, hold on, let's see if I can bring it up here. Can I? Let's do this. Yeah, I'll just share screen. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah. There's no volume, though.
I don't think you need it.
Is the point of this that he thoroughly enjoys this, or what?
It's hard to tell from his facial expression.
I will say, of all the people that I've watched play this game, all of them were pretty negative on it. I should have watched someone who loves the game play through it just to see.
Yeah, I can see the life draining out of him. He's like, this is a QTE for eating. This is exactly what I would have recommended for them to do.
I feel like I recognize him from the the viral clips of just being like, oh my god, baby Yoda and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Wow. He doesn't look impressed.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't be. I can't.
No one should be. It's awful, man. Like,
you've got to do a QTE to blow on the hot food.
Yes, you do.
Oh my god, Muller, I can't take it anymore. It's too high octane for me.
It's just too special, you know. It's too Star Wars.
It is. It's. If anything, it adheres too closely to George Lucas's vision, and I just can't handle that.
Oh, I guess he gave up on the game from there. By the way, because if you scroll down, when the top comment says, "It makes me sad," he stops right when the story seems to be picking up.
I mean, that would probably stop you in your tracks, wouldn't it?
That's very funny, actually, if that's what happened. Oh no, he did end up streaming it more. He's got 4 and 5. There you go. He came back.
Stuart Easton says, take a shot every time Netflix Lara cried or had a mental breakdown moment. Your liver would stop working, even yours, drinker. What a waste this show was. Yep. I'm so fucking sick of Lara Croft now, like what they've done to her. They've turned her into the most boring arsehole on the planet.
She just seemed to have been interpreted incorrectly so many times. It kind of sucks.
I mean, it's amazing because they're really determined to stick with this new version of her. Like, they did the prequel trilogy of, like, you know, Tomb Raider reboot, essentially. And then they follow on from that with this show. And to be fair, it's kind of consistent with that character. It's just that character is not Lara Croft. It's some sad imposter. Winter GS says, hello, you mad lads. My wife and I have been watching a lot of BritBox and Masterpiece Theatre. We've given up on American TV. One thing we've noticed is the older English and Scots shows were way better written, like Rebus. They usually were, yeah. I mean...
The truth is, they often had to be. That's like the main thing they had, right? Like... a lot of them weren't exactly very high budget.
They weren't, and also, I mean, most of these shows were adapted from novels, which were like best-selling novels, so they had pretty good source material to draw from then. And that's obviously going to give you a tremendous advantage when it comes to writing your scripts. You've got it all there for you. Maybe you don't have that so much now.
No, books are like gay now.
Oh, yeah. Dragon Ball Z, you should check out ER's Netflix Last Airbender vid yet. I haven't checked it out, no, have you?
I've been meaning to. That's actually something that's on my backlog. I've got so many, dude, the month of like August and October and stuff, the amount of Rings of Power videos I had to watch. It's like, everyone stop making things.
Yeah. The Special Edwards says, has anyone on the panel seen Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal? I've been trying to caveman pill Drinker and Mauler for like 4 streams now. I really want to see their reaction to a show with 0 dialogue. Much love from the States. Yeah, I mean, it sounds impressive. Haven't seen it yet, I'm afraid. As Mauler was just explaining, time is usually of the essence with us. Geek Gator says, hey Drinker, what are your thoughts on Amazon MGM Studios finalizing a deal with Sony Pictures to produce a hopefully soft reboot of Stargate at their studios? Announcement by Christmas. I don't think much of that idea, quite frankly. Considering the people that are involved in it, yeah, I mean, I don't want to see Stargate get given the Rings of Power treatment, I'm afraid. So that's pretty much what I imagine is going to happen.
There is no TV show. The announcement of it getting more episodes or a remake would be good news.
No.
Like, if it were Farscape, I'd be like, well, that's going to be awful.
Yeah, and like, 10, 15 years ago, the idea of like, hey, they're bringing back Farscape. Like, holy shit, cool, finally. Nah, not so much. James Moore, Velma was just another Mindy, I'll fire you if you tell anyone Kaling's self-insert vanity project for the 5th time. What a terrible person she is. Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard about that, but she apparently forced herself on like a young intern or something on one of her shows. And basically said, yeah, if you tell anyone, you're getting fired. And never suffered any repercussions for that. It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it?
It's a bit, yeah. Well, obviously, I hope it's not true for the sake of the people involved. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people will lose everything for less.
Oh, yeah. Campbell Patterson. I'm reading the Lord of the Rings books for the first time, and I'm curious, what do you think the books did better than the movies and vice versa? So, it's kind of an interesting one. Obviously, you get way more depth with the books. And the thing that always strikes me about the books, especially the Fellowship of the Ring, right, is just how like laid back everyone is in the early part of the books and how like sedate the pace is. Like in the movie, Gandalf like hurries off to investigate the ring. Like he leaves it with Frodo, and he appears to be gone for like, I don't know, a few weeks. Like he journeys to Minas Tirith and he does his research. And then it's like, shit, I need to get back and meet with Saruman and stuff. In the books, he's gone for about 20 years. Like, yeah, leaves for quite a while. And then it's like he does come back, and it's like, you should probably you should probably think about leaving the Shire, Frodo, because of these ring wraiths that are coming to like suck your soul out and kill you and stuff. Frodo's like, all right, cool, I'll probably head off in like the autumn time. Like, just has a nice couple of months to himself, just going for walks and stuff. So it's very much slower paced, and I think they're more realistic about like the power that Sauron commands. Like he's still relatively weak at that point. So things like that are just kind of more interesting. There's way more insight into like how the Shire functions and the different cultures of the hobbits in different regions and stuff. And it's all just nice stuff. It gives you a nice insight into the world. And yeah, like things like the Barrow White sequence and stuff, that's all really good stuff. They go on essentially a whole mini adventure before they even get to Rivendell. So it's it's pretty good stuff. So it's just the depth of narrative, I suppose, I prefer about the books. Harriman says, if you're ever wondering how awful shows keep getting made and renewed, just look at who the showrunners are dating, married to, or related to. It's nepotism. Yeah, I can 100% believe that, for sure. Needhogger says, howdy Mauler and Drinker. I'm back with another recommendation. You guessed it, Black Sails. You've shown us many horrible media lately. Perhaps it's time for a change in quality for the better. I mean, I agree 100%. As we always say, it's just we've got to add it to the list of things we've to review. And there's usually current day stuff that kind of takes priority, especially in October. Like, I don't know about you, but Halloween doesn't really scream pirates to me.
A
I know
tiny
people
bit.
dress. I know people dress up as them sometimes, but that's not quite the same.
What
Pirates,
what
maybe.
month screams pirate to you? What is the pirate month?
July for me. I associate pirates with like hot weather and tropical islands and stuff in summer, so I'm going to say July is my pirate month.
All right. Well then, Black Sails in July.
There's one thing I need to check. Now, interestingly, International Talk Like a Pirate Day is actually September each year, September the 19th. So maybe it should be that.
Much closer to October than July.
Yeah, well, I'll give it some thought and see how it balances out in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Chernobog says, I know you love Negronis, but I wanted to recommend a Boulevardier. It still uses Campari and sweet vermouth, but instead of gin, it uses whiskey. And we all know how much you love your whiskey. Yes. Well, that's an interesting combination. I don't actually think I've had a Boulevardier. Might need to give that a try. Yeah, so Campari, so the sour, or sorry, the bitterness, sweet vermouth, and then whiskey. Okay. Not generally massive on whiskey cocktails, but I might give that a try. Cannon Folderall says, critical dinker, finker, jinkler, spinker, and cheers. Okay. I am the dinker. Shan Wikram Singh says, Robot Heads, do you know why Tasmania is continuously moving towards the Australian mainland? It's because Melbourne sucks. Just kidding. Best wishes from Sydney, New South Wales, the best Wales. Are you going to stand for that, Mower?
I mean,
claiming that they've got the best whales.
We often let them think they've got a lot to be depressed about, and so it's like, yeah, good for you, yeah.
You did a thing.
Yeah.
Cuban says, my second favorite Ridley Scott movie is the one where Obi-Wan Hector and the British officer from the Patriots served as army rangers in Mogadishu. Okay, so that's Blackhawk Down. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
For
a second there, I was like, "What the fuck movie is that?" I was like, "Oh right."
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting casting choices in that movie, I suppose.
The cast is crazy in Blackhawk Down. You recognize everybody.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of in the early days of their career. I think Tom Hardy's in there as well. Is he not?
I want to say he is. Yeah, you got William Fichtner's in there. Why am I forgetting his name?
Which is funny because he was clearly like mid-40s at least, like way too old to be playing a army ranger. Okay.
Oh yeah, Orlando Bloom's randomly in it.
Yeah.
Guy from Saving Private Ryan, the Tom Hanks is like second in command, I think. I forget his name.
Oh, yeah. You know who's also in it? The dude who was in The Rock, he played one of the evil like Navy SEALs who like Nick Cage punches him in the mouth with like one of those vials of toxin.
Oh, he's in it?
Yeah, he was in it. Quite a small role, but like, yeah, he was there.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett, Ewan McGregor, Tom Sizemore was the name I was thinking about. Hugh Dancy, I know from some other stuff. It's actually just a surprising who's who of just I know them from that and that from them and then over and over again.
It's a very watchable movie. I really like it.
I like it as well. Oh yeah, Eric Banner, of course, as well.
Oh yeah. Captain Jean-Luc Bacardi says, got HBO again to watch Penguin. I'm absolutely hooked. It's strange rooting for the guy who's completely antithetical to society. I love the dialogue on the ethics of his life compared to the blue collar. Great recommendation. Thank you. Nice. It's just great to see people enjoying it.
Interesting thing about Penguin is I think it makes us reevaluate the conversation about who, like House of Dragon used to like a part of the problem is who's to root for. Like there is no one to root for necessarily in Penguin either, but it then must turn into a thing about like how engaging a thing is.
Yes.
Because
and I think that's where I differ. Yeah, I mean I agree with you 100%. I think that's where House of the Dragon diverges from something like the Penguin, where I feel like there's more of a beating heart of humanity within Penguin than there is within House of the Dragon, which I know is a harsh criticism.
No, I get it. You're just describing what is true about your experience with the show, which is that you don't seem to gravitate toward wanting a character particularly to do anything like win. Meanwhile, Penguin, who is an awful piece of shit, is still someone you're like, come on, buddy, you can do it. You just got to
yeah, weirdly. I think you
mean,
instinctively root for the underdog, and that's kind of what he is throughout the show. Just like, you know, struggling with various.
Oh, and maybe we'll get tired after more than one season, but like there is this thing of him being like, "Oh, come on, I gotta like, oh, god damn it, like I'm naked, tortured, I can get out of this," and you're like, "Can you get out of this? I want to see you get out of this."
Yeah.
And the performance is fantastic, and then the world is, yeah, you know, it's how do I put this? It's like you're sort of you've seen enough good stuff that you're like, all right, show what else you got, give me.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that House of Dragon is part of a universe that disappointed people more than ever.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Harriman says the bar is so low that it's a tripping hazard in hell, but there they are, limbo dancing with Satan. That'll be Tomb Raider then. Krigla says, have you seen Danger 5? If so, your thoughts on it? I have not seen Danger 5, I'm afraid, no.
Neither have I.
2% Right says, I enjoyed Skeleton Crew the first time I saw when it was Nickelodeon's Space Cases. Oh, same idea then. Jasper Silva says, whenever I hear this argument, haters are going to attack the kids, I remember of that line from Smilo Ren and the Acolyte, you're the one who brought them here. True.
I know it's the thing we said we were doing it. I just, the people who do it, the people who deliberately attack children for their acting, like, nobody's going to be able to protect anybody from them in the sense that the broad, you always get a broad amount of responses from people. In fact, it should be the parents, right? Keep them off social media until they're old enough.
I mean, I would think so, yeah. Like, they're always going to find a way, I suppose. And, you know.
And the fact is, dude, even friends at school will bully them for being in a TV show.
Yeah.
That's just going to happen. That's how it works. Isn't that what happened with Jake Lloyd as well?
It was, yeah. He got pretty.
Yeah, it's not going to be fucking Facebook or anything in 2001 or 99. Sorry.
I think they'll probably be rescued by the fact that fucking nobody's going to watch this show, so there's not going to be anyone around to really bully them.
It's also just not going to inspire much passion.
No, I mean, I think that's like we already talked about this on the bar, where it's like I don't think I'll even bother watching it and reviewing it or anything because it's like, one, it is kind of shitty to be like taking a dump on a kids show. Like, yeah, I kind of agree with that aspect of it. But when they make up 90% of the cast, like, you can't avoid it if you're going to critique it. And two, like, I just don't care enough about it to even watch it, so I just don't think it's for me.
I'm curious to see what we're dealing with, but no, I don't imagine there's going to be much to say about it.
Harry Langdon, thoughts on Severance season 1? So, yeah, I haven't seen Severance, I'm afraid. I don't know. Have you?
Neither have I.
Andrew Collins, Terrifier 3 being the top of the box office, beating out a major studio makes me pleased. Have you seen any of the Terrifier movies? Because I haven't. I've just heard that they're like pure torture porn, exploitation, gross out horror.
Mel's seen it. I think he said the third one is the best one, but they're not. Yeah, they're not tempting to me. I think they're a bit like, let's just have a bit of fun, but also kind of strange. I mean, it's funny, obviously, that clown is more profitable than Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah, it is quite funny. Yeah, Pathkeeper. Rogue One fixed a plot hole that didn't exist. It's totally believable that a large government project like the Death Star would have a severe flaw that the rebels could exploit. I mean, that's true, yeah. Like government inefficiency and all that. Drake Timbershaft. Fans. Oh, yeah, we're going to get to see Helm Hammerhand. Boyens. How about his girl boss daughter instead? Fans. And we're gone. That could well be what happens, by the way. I mean, the interest in that show just went through the floor when they showed the first trailer.
I mean, yeah, like I'm not gonna check it out myself. I'll wait for you guys to say I should.
Oh, thanks, Mauler.
I'll let you take the bullet on that one.
Yeah.
It could also be taking the wonderful show that you'll enjoy. So there you go.
Well, it's win-win for you then, isn't it? Dr. Martin Luther Pepe says 2015 feels like it was the last normal year before it all went to shit. Mobiles, why did you release the plushies the same month that my car needed repairs?
I did it on purpose. I'm sorry.
You should have thought about him.
I actually found that out through a private investigator when your car was going to be doing all this stuff, and I was like, that's when we'll launch the plushies. Yes.
Yeah. The Ogre of the West says Shadow gets a girl that gets smoked in front of him. Shadow? What's that a reference to again?
That's Sonic, you know? It's, yeah, Shadow's going to fall in love with a girl who's going to die right in his arms, and that's going to motivate him to...
Of course.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
OMG puppies. The idea is for a female superhero story. A chemist from Oxford is working on protein structure, and in a freak lab accident, it gives her the power to fight communism. She becomes Prime Minister of Britain. That'll be Margaret Thatcher then. Yes, she was, in fact, a chemist before she got into politics. Kind of interesting, but oh well. Albert Nada Retro says, "Hey Mauler, you Elm Street basher." Oh, wait, we did that one on the night, didn't we? I remember that one popping up. Hasselhappa says, Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune is the original trilogy covering Paul Atreides and his kids. Everything after that is a mess. Yeah, because I think that's when it got turned over to his son, and he did the remaining stories. OMG says, Dune, just the first book, is a masterpiece, and both Frank and his son never really replicated that achievement again. I thought Brian's Machine War trilogy at least was a fun read. All right. Yeah, I think I've only read the first two. So, yeah, my knowledge on them is not great. Albert Nada Retro. By the way, I like Bond. I was just pointing out that even the greats have flaws, and I did enjoy your reviews of the Elm Street films. So always forgiven.
Wonderful. Well, yeah, we... I think people wanted us to be more positive about the first Elm Street, but we weren't very impressed. We were just like, meh, it was okay.
Oh, really?
But then Elm Street 3 we thought was awesome, which, as far as I'm aware, is now is mostly considered the fan favorite of the set. So that lines up.
So is that before it went like just kind of goofy and ridiculous? Like, is it actually a serious horror, or is that just a silly one?
It's hard to say, man, because the second one is pretty damn goofy, and then the first one has a goof factor. You know, Freddy from the get-go is kind of like when he's going after people. The third one brings in the first. He starts saying "bitch" in the third one. You get the sort of like the dreams are supposed to orient around the insecurities of the person, and he'll kill them by making them more and more fearful. Like, that's so much more cleaner in the third film. The other ones, it gets a bit wonky, and he's killing them just sort of randomly. You know, they give you mechanics on the dreams, and they have hypnosil to prevent them from dreaming but also sleeping. They're in a mental institution, so the balance is none of the doctors believe that Freddy's a thing, but they do, like, the kids need hypnosil to survive against him. And so there's like a push and pull in the world of defending themselves against him. But then there's also, they bring back Heather Langenkamp from the first one, and she's like trying to help them escape him in the dreams until they can face him. You know, and the way they do it is like, you've really got to overcome your fears. You've got to work on, because that's what he's trying to destroy you with and stuff. And they make a movie out of it. The kind of movie that I feel like if they had made it like that every time, Elm Street probably would have been huge. But each of the other films kind of fuck it up. Except Freddy versus Jason. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember that one. Just for the complete insanity factor.
Yeah.
Red Strider says, only Netflix could make Lara a lesbian and no one wants to watch it. 90s kids would have given their right arm to see that. Yeah, I'm one of them. Look what they've taken from us. I know. It's unfair. Don't Be Hasty says, hey Drinker, are you and Mauler going to cover any more Firefly episodes? It's one of my favorite shows, and I think it was cancelled way too soon. We agree, and we will be doing more. I think it's just October's a bad time for both of us.
Yeah, we had a feeling this would happen because October it's insane in terms of the different appearances we've got, videos to make, streams to do. But we'll get on it.
We will do more. We will finish the season. Chris Stick says, cheers to the panel. Good to see the Despot. His Velma fix would work. There you go. Papa Wolf Dog Zeus says, thank you, Angry Badger, for calling it like it truly is. He does, and he's very good at it. Getian J says, Lara Croft live TV series, something like Relic Hunter. That would be fine. And cast Hayley Atwell as Lara Croft. Why not? Henry Ashman says, Lara Croft is posh and British. You can set up any adventure as a bet with another bored, posh, rich kid. You could even make it a race if you need an antagonist. American writers just don't get Brits. I kind of feel like they don't, and they are determined to not get Lara. I think they're really put off by this idea that she's like aristocratic and super rich, and she just does it out of fun rather than
No,
because
yeah,
she
that's
needs to
not.
do
We
it.
can't work with that. We gotta make. Oh, it's so lame. Like, yeah, this trying to shove her into the modern box is just ruining everything that's cool about her.
Exactly. Nick Brown says Daddy Issues is so hot right now. Apparently it is, yeah. Like fucking all these characters seem to revolve around it. Richie says this Lara Croft series sounds bad. All I want is action and adventure. Haley Atwell would be a great Lara with that amazing cleavage. She would. I mean, I've said this to various people. I think if they were doing a Tomb Raider movie or a show 10 years ago when she was kind of age appropriate, it would have been an easy casting choice. She's 42 now, so realistically, if you're going to kick off like a new franchise, she's probably not going to be the right person for it. And that is a shame. David Gannon says, wait, it didn't take 3 movies to get to Indy's dad. They did that in the second movie, The Last Crusade. In fact, they did it so well, they ended the series right then and there. What?
The second movie, The Last Crusade.
Retromeister says, with the fallout of Netflix's Tomb Raider, aka Cora Croft, should we move on and create new heroines inspired by Lara Croft? Or should we continue to defend Lara and her legacy from these vandals? I mean, I would suggest doing both, really.
Let's do both, yeah.
Because, yeah, we want to try and salvage something from Lara Croft and make her great again. But also, let's come up with new characters as well. They don't all just have to be derivative of her. Boromir Stark says, do you think they'll incorporate the 16-year time lapse in Dune Part 3, or do you think they'll pick up where they left off at the end of Part 2? They're going to have to pick up where they left off, I think. It's going to be really tough for audiences to grapple with that time jump. I think as well, because then you couldn't really cast Chalamet and Zendaya again. Like, they wouldn't be the right age for it.
Just wait 16 years.
That's true, yeah. Let's do that. English Batchers says, you mock Moore's Bond kitchen now, but look at On the Bus's kitchen from 1973 versus Bond's apartment in Live and Let Die. Then come back to me. Okay. I mean, sure. Yeah, at least it's got personality, I suppose. It's definitely got that in its favor. Griefdish says, Tomb Raider 2018 is just a remake of Last Crusade. Archaeologist's child is trusted with father's life work to keep it safe and then stupidly delivers it into the hands of the antagonist, Vogel. Yes, bullshit.
I mean, that's probably fair. It's just that I don't hate that movie. That's all. It's like,
is that the Vikander one?
Oh, I thought they were saying it's the Angelina Jolie one.
No, this is 2018. So that's the Alicia Vikander movie.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while, but I thought it was does she get hired by Ian Glenn in and she's got her dad's has something to do with the what she's doing in that movie.
She's not hired by him. I think she's competing against him. So she's not really hired by anyone, I don't think. She comes across
because they end up in the same places, right? And she,
because like there's 2 pieces of a triangle that lets you travel through time or something. I don't know. And so they're in a race to it's time to get it. She's trying to stop him, and she believes that if she can get the magical triangle thing, she can like travel back in time and save her dad.
Right, and because it's I really need to rewatch that movie because I remember like she's forced into quote unquote helping by threatening Daniel Craig, right?
Yeah, right at the end, because she's like got a sort of previous relationship with him. Ian Glenn like shoots him or throws a knife at him or something.
Throws a knife at him,
like, yeah, and it's like, so he's dead, and like the only way you can save him now is the triangle. Like, and if you give me the triangle, I promise to go back and rescue him. Honest. So that's kind of where they end up.
He should have had a chance to play more villains. He's such a villain. Like, I mean, he's British, so.
Yeah, I mean, he hams it up to the max. He was a villain in a couple of the Resident Evil movies, but he wasn't as good as this one.
Yeah, I remember. That was... What even was that? Like, do you remember him in the... there's so many... He doesn't he, like... They make him, like, the main bad guy by the end of it, and I don't even remember his name. He's, like, Doctor something.
Well, there's clones of him. So there's, like, 2 or 3 of them kicking around in the final movie. It's one of them like
feels like he and Paul W.S. Anderson would just like, let's do it, man. There's a lot of money in this. It's goofy as fuck. Let's just do it. Let's just make you the Resident Evil bad man.
Pretty much. I mean, I like to think, like, at the script writing meetings for that final movie, it's like, what the fuck do we do next? Like, we've destroyed the world. Everyone got killed in the White House at the end of the last one. Like, where do we go from here? Alice is like Superman, basically. Fucking, I don't know. Like, we'll just take all our powers away or something. That'll do. Jay Smart says, Agatha was made for the kind of women who unironically buy fairy statues from mall ninja stores who claim to be Wiccan and go to church on Christmas. Pretty much, yeah. Summit Shah says, now that Velma's cancelled, I'll watch it. Nice. Samuel says, how do you think Penguin will compare to Gotham? So I didn't watch Gotham, unfortunately. I don't know. Was it meant to be good? I don't think I heard anything like amazing about it.
Maybe I'm not the person to ask because I didn't see much of it. I watched some of season 1, I think.
Yeah, I was never into all these like weird, obscure like spin-offs, you know, like Pennyworth and all that stuff. Like there's like a million Batman spin-off shows for some reason, and I just never really wanted to watch them. But all I can say is I like Penguin on its own merits at the moment. David Gannon says, 2003, Colin Farrell can't play a comic book villain. 2024, challenge accepted. Yeah, he took his time, but he came back hard. Larry Escher, how about a hand for the actress who played the inmate who attacked Sophia? She went from crazy to empathetic awesomely in just one scene. Yeah, she was good. She was really good at playing just fucking disturbing. Like the way she moves and stuff.
Yeah, she put a lot of effort into that, it felt.
That was good. Good stuff. Skeleton Bro says, easy inclusions in the Penguin show are Scareface, Two-Face, and The Question. Danny DeVito could easily play Scareface. Okay. Eric Huff says, hey, Drinker, I'll be going to the Grand Rapids Comic-Con. Are there any details to where you'll be in the place? I tried looking it up on their website, but it's kind of ass. Yeah, it's not a great website, if I'm totally honest, but yeah, I don't have any more details at the moment. I know I've got my own table and stuff. I think I might be in like the writers section, possibly. But yeah, when I know more closer to the time, I'll let people know. Jay Fraser says, hail gents, will you be playing, streaming, or reviewing the Silent Hill 2 remake? Luke Roberts' performance as James Sunderland is fantastic. Well, funny you should ask, because I streamed it last night and had a lot of fun with it, and I'm probably going to do some more later. So, enjoying it so far. Screwball Sector says, Drinker, what do you think about reviewing 90s films in retrospect? Blade 1 and 2, the Nick Cage trilogy? What's the Nick Cage trilogy? Just 3 Nick Cage movies. Like Face Off and Con Air and stuff?
I'm assuming it's something like that, like what connects 3 movies. Let's see what the Nick Cage trilogy brings up. The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty good. Pretty solid choice. Like, yeah, I'm totally up for doing them. Some of them I've done as happy hours and stuff. Yeah, he says Hot Shots 1 and 2 and the Boondock Saints. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've done Hot Shots as well on happy hour. So some of them I've covered, but yeah, I'm definitely up for them. Good fun movies. Albert Nada Retro. Asian dude is a racist and everything is all mixed around in Canada. We're supposed to be a multicultural country. His BS ruined that company and ended jobs. That is kind of sad, actually. Apparently that company's fucked now just because of Simu Liu. Day Tripper says, in chef school, you learn to cook food from all over the world. The foundation of gastronomy is sharing and blending food culture. This dude is a tool. No argument here. Jaira says, you know, if you think about the Disney legacy, it has been adapting IPs since the beginning. As a kid, Rescuers Down Under was my favorite. Nice. Ed Song says, little asshole Lou would attempt to take any Asian role on the reason that Asians are interchangeable. He was asked a while ago why he was playing a non-Chinese Asian role. He was like, it's all good because we're all going to do it. Yeah, that sounds about right. If it benefits him, I'm sure he's happy. Albert Nada Retro, is he pushing against the slave labor in China? I'm sure he isn't. David Gannon, his culture, boba tea was invented in the 1980s. Yeah, it's a recent thing. I knew it wasn't an ancient recipe or anything. Doom Waffles. Mark Strong is in the upcoming Dune Prophecy show. I saw an early cut of the pilot, and I'd say it's fairly good. I didn't notice much of the message. Well, that's encouraging then. And Mark Strong is always a pleasure to watch. He is great in Penguin, actually. His
Yeah,
take
he
on
is.
Falcone is just menacing.
And I think we're probably going to get the one episode with him, which is good
Yeah,
job,
it's a shame. Yeah. Rays says, recently watched The Batman and was extremely disappointed. Plot holes and plot armor galore, maybe 3 good characters, and Riddler is my 13th reason. Penguin was the best part, and he was barely in it. I mean, yeah, it definitely had problems.
Yeah, there's the. I was about to say the third act. Like, the fourth act is one of the bigger problems in that film.
Yeah, I think Chris Gore always refers to these as like the second, third act. And it's just like always that tacked on bullshit that you get in movies.
It's just, it goes on for so much longer, and obviously, like, the plan is fucking odd, from Riddler,
Yeah,
to say the least.
Gosh darn it, says, do you think Simu Liu has ever eaten pizza? I'm sure he has. Retro Meister says, Simu should shut up about segregation and get back to being a stock photo model. I'm sure his career is heading that way. Ed Song says, that is due to Liu being a huge bitch. He has no principles. He got real ass mad when Clownfish TV said that Shang-Chi may flop. He took it so personally that he rushed out to defend his non-flop. Yeah, I believe he did, actually. I think he was quite butthurt about that. And then the movie did flop because it was, 400 million worldwide, I think it made. It was not a success.
There's so many things to say about how it's just the fucking word flop. People like to, be like, ha, it didn't. And you're like, what are you even saying? Like, ha, it didn't make as much money, but it managed to clear the bar that we've set ourselves for whether or not it's a flop.
Yeah,
because whether or not it made $1, right? Let's just pretend it did. That's crap.
Yeah.
Like, whether or not it's definitionally a flop by anyone's metric, that film did not do good enough.
Well, the thing is, it was definitionally a flop because it lost money. It failed to recoup its production costs. Even, it costs like in excess of 200 million. It would have needed to make, when you factor in marketing and stuff, typical Marvel stuff, it would have needed to make about 600-700 million at least to break even, and it came in at like 400 million. So it lost money, and it was a flop. Yeah. But I think it was just because it had a strong opening weekend or something. He was like super clapping himself on the back kind of thing. Jay Fraser says, Mower, have you seen King Lear from 2018? It's a modern adaptation set in a highly militarized version of 21st century London starring Anthony Hopkins.
No, I haven't. Sounds
Damn it,
interesting.
Jonathan Schwalter says, just got Arcane and Andor on 4K Steelbooks. I'm cautiously optimistic about both of their second seasons meeting expectations, and pessimistically cynical about them exceeding expectations. I mean, my expectations are pretty high for Arcane, so if it can meet that, then that's fine by me.
Arcane, Andor, and Squid Game. Eyes are on all of them for their second seasons.
Yep. Albert Nada Retro. He better not own a Tim Hortons. By the way, his name is Simu Liu. He's an Asian-Canadian actor, and he's played non-Chinese characters. Indeed. David Gannon. Hail Mauler and Drinker. Apropos of nothing and drink recipe I created. The Apple Core. 2 to 4 ounce C's each of bourbon and good apple juice. Then add 7-Up. Do not use Sprite. It turns the whole thing undrinkable. Enjoy, gents. Whoa. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Bourbon and apple. Jackie Boy says, Knights of the Old Republic TV series. Yeah. MG says, The Left Hand of Darkness. It's an amazing book about a black male lead that goes to a planet where there are only men, and when they want to mate, one turns female. The shit movie has to be coming. Of course it will. Ed Song, you wait. Imagine they changed Schindler's List to Sheila's. It turned Schindler into a just greedy philanderer with a mistress called Sheila, who really pushed him into starting a business to save people. Sure, okay. Jay Fraser, I just saw George and the Dragon. It stars James Purefoy, Patrick Swayze, Michael Clark Duncan, and Piper Perabo. Shite Dragon CGI, but still quite enjoyable. Missed out film for the EFAP war arc. We'll have to keep that for like a.
I will say that is a cast that just like screams a particular era,
Oh yeah. Paul Stramby, Yo Drinker, have you tried the Offerman edition of Lagavulin Scotch yet? It's awesome. Yes, apparently it is really good. It's not easy to get though because it's done in small batches and it's like fucking £150 a bottle or something crazy. So I haven't tried it yet. Ed Song, no Mauler. You can't stop doing homeless videos. I want to see more spiraling. He turned his friend list into an enemy list in record time. Is this
Homeless
Boogie?
videos?
Homeless?
Oh, homeless. Well, we haven't done a Xandahole video in like forever anyway. But Boogie is a different meme. I think
It's a whole different animal. Steelwrath says, I think Sitch and Adam already dismantled Birdman's video. I did find it annoying how Birdman intentionally misrepresented your statements. Well, I mean, that's par for the course for people who want to criticize me, really. It's what they do. So I don't really care.
it's genuinely speaking, if someone wants to take us down, if they did a full look at all the streams that we've done, all the videos we've done, the take is going to be, dare I say, boring. In the big problems that you'd come up with for us are going to be because like you can't make the narrative that we're some kind of like monsters. It's going to be a little bit tough. So you're going to have you have to twist a few things to make the video more interesting. And at that point, you start like heading down a road that's you'll start saying some stuff like they all do. It's like, oh, he's the greatest grifter you've ever seen. It's like the biggest damage to film crews. Blah, blah, blah. It's like it couldn't be. Critical drinker, not very good at film analysis.
Yeah.
Because that would be boring to people. They would be like, oh, he's a lot worse than that. And like this is coming from a lot of people who just don't watch the shit that we do anyway. So
Yeah. It's par for the course. When you get to a certain level, they're just going to want to like punch up at you and try and pull you down.
It's almost not even interesting once you've had it happen so many years. You could still go back to the early episodes of EFAP where I'm like consistently shocked that people are calling me racist. I'm like, how could they do that? Why would they do it? But these days I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't like that movie? Oh, you must be racist then.
Racist,
like, yeah,
racist,
okay,
yeah,
sure, if that makes you feel better. Abraham Snog, Penguin is one of the shows of all time, truly a breath of air. Also, what are your thoughts on a Band of Brothers type Star Wars film series with all the gore? That I would pay to see, actually. That'd be quite cool. Mega Spidey Man, Mulder and Drinker, favorite Andy Serkis roles and why those? Mine are definitely Gollum and Caesar, though. I wish Snoke could have been.
Oh, right. I mean, I
listed the best ones.
I was going to say, like, who wouldn't shoot? Gollum is phenomenal as a performance from him, and then Caesar, is another one where you're just like, shit, man, you nailed it. And I'll be completely honest, it's hard for me to think outside of some of those roles, like King Kong, obviously he did as well. His mocap is like unmatched almost. You
know what's sad is like he'll be getting to that age where he can't really do the mocap for like characters like Caesar or even Gollum, really, like the amount of physicality that it requires, and he's probably like well into his 50s by now, and it's going to be a real loss when that happens.
Well, hopefully he's blazed enough of a trail that enough people will be able to get some new stars.
Yep. The next one, I can't pronounce the name because I think it's Polish, but it says suckling on drinkers' succulent tipples. There's only one person in YouTube who's got tipples, unfortunately. It's not me. Sergey Berengard says, Hail Drinker, Muller, and guests. Check out the new teaser trailer for The Electric State. Came out today. All right, we take a look. Jay Fraser, Drinker, you're credited in a 2023 film called Dick Dynamite, 1944. Any stories from the set? Also, have you seen the film and would you review it? I have seen the film. I was actually at the premiere because it was done in my hometown. And I was in it just because the director got in touch. He was a fan of the channel. And he's like, hey, you want to have a little role in this? It'd be really awesome if we could get you in because we've had a bunch of other people do tiny little cameos. So I did. And I was like playing a guy like getting resuscitated while an artillery gun's going off in the background. Like I was playing a World War II soldier. But I still had the Ray-Bans on. So it was quite funny. And it is a surprisingly fun movie, actually. It's very, very tongue-in-cheek. It's based on the premise of, like, what if Arnold Schwarzenegger had done a World War II movie? Like, that's the kind of tone that they're going for there. And considering it was done on a tiny budget, I think they did amazingly good work. Theoden, King of Brohan, says the entire bird brain argument is everyone would love our propaganda if racist Drinker would stop pointing out that it's propaganda. Don't bother, it's bullshit. I can get behind that argument. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going for. It's so annoying when people argue against you, isn't it? And point out when you're completely inconsistent and illogical. Ed Song says, well, If you put a movie on for Steven Seagal, you don't have to worry about him leaving. He didn't even leave his seat for his action scenes. Yeah, there's a couple of movies I've seen where he actually fights like sitting down. He's that lazy.
It's funny though.
Yeah. Simon Ho says Bruce versus Chuck was the way of the dragon. Yes, it was. Yeah. Good fight. Dean Mays says, Mauler, I recently rewatched season 1 of Arcane whilst mainlining your epic live streams examining the show. My eyes were bleeding by the end, but it was worth it. You did the Lord's work, sir.
Your eyes are bleeding. I hope you're okay.
I guess because they were so long.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Get some sleep in between.
Buns says, bubble tea popularity is still very much alive, at least in cities where a lot of Asians reside. Not defending Simu. If their products are good, they should be able to sell. However, they want nice to see the panel back. Okay. No, that's fair. I mean, like I say, it's been out for a couple of years here, and it just kind of feels like it was a fad for a while, and then people kind of lost interest. But I do still see the shops. I think, Mauler, you're almost out of time. We're kind of close to the end, but I know you have to leave pretty soon.
Keep it going. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Just make a weird noise or something when you're out of time.
I'll go, and then leave.
Yeah, that's fine. Albert Nada Retro says, Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones saved Erica Leniak from a horrible fate on the set of Under Siege. A love scene with Steven Seagal. Yeah, I heard about that. He wanted to do a sex scene with them fucking on top of one of the artillery shells. These poor guys had to step in and dissuade him. Lucas says, hey friends, have you ever tried watching any media with the audio description? That will really put a drink in your hand. Sometimes they're so lacking, it's frustrating. I've never tried it. I mean, I've seen it referenced in a few YouTube videos, like especially for Acolyte. Like the lightsaber was throbbing next to his chest. John Gates says, Andy Serkis signed my Gollum PS4 copy. I win. That's pretty good. Salisbury Steak. From is the best show on television right now, and it's not even close. Definitely worth the drinker recommends if you get around to seeing it. All right, nice. Thanks, man. B-Chain says, New England, beautiful landscapes and towns, rich history, terrible politics. Also, Grimace is a reference to the NY Mets versus LA Dodgers. Go Mets. Okay, I know nothing about that sport, but yeah, I mean, there's like it's election season. I was seeing signs for Harris and signs for Trump everywhere, so it just seemed to be a pretty even split, really. Ed Song says, Wales, too many Welshmen, 7 out of 10, IGN. That's about right. Kevin says, what does Critical Drinker think of Tim Tigner's Price of Time film coming out for Black Friday? I don't know what that is, I'm afraid. Sorry, man. Retro Meister, in a topic of British culture, The Critical Drinker, are you looking forward to the new Wallace and Gromit movie bringing back the infamous Feathers McGraw? I know I am. Yeah, we were just talking earlier. I mean, if they bring him back, awesome. Sicky Jokes says, Mauler, with Sophia, there's nothing to fix. She's perfect the way she is.
That is the take for now, yeah.
There's only 3 left, actually. Help me, says Drinker. Are you worried Penguin could be a bait and switch for Sophia because of this past episode? Not really. This was just like giving us context on how she came to be, so I wouldn't draw any conclusions from it really about the show's future.
I mean, it looks to me like it's going to be Penguin's got to defeat her. That's the season for him.
Yeah. Sam Wallace says, recently watched Extraction 2. Dumb Call of Duty plot line, but I like the mayhem type action. Like that lady friend and scrawny guy have a rougher go in fights because they're not as bulky as Chris. Yeah, it was a fun movie. Switch your brain off and just enjoy it.
I way prefer something like an Extraction 2 to a John Wick 4. I felt like there was more of a grounded sort of... a lot more elements I came to enjoy. I really like the action in Extraction 2, even though I agree they're reaching the level. They're going as far as it being pretty exaggerated, you know?
Yeah. And Radio Spec says, Mauler, you ham sandwich. When did you first discover that you had a gift of logic and debate? Also, how do you come up with the insults you dish out in your unbridled videos? Cheers to the fellowship. You had some corkers in the Romulus video.
So I've talked before about one of my big inspirations when I was first just watching YouTube videos even was Total Biscuit, and I watched a lot of Christopher Hitchens stuff. I was fascinated by that man, and it's a bit of a cruel twist of fate that I would consider two of them to be really big inspirations, and both of them died way too fucking early. I think the world genuinely would have been significantly better if both of them were still alive. It sucks. But I wouldn't have said I felt particularly skilled in debate. I just enjoyed discussion. I felt like there was genuinely a path to take to try and help convince people of better ideas. Like I really did think that was not to say that I've lost faith in that potential, but it's part of what drives my videos. I attempt to be persuasive while entertaining, because then I was, plenty of people who's inspiring to me were on an entertainment level. But yeah, and then insults, it's like it's just writing at that point. It's take a normal insult and then try and find a way to twist them in different ways that people haven't heard before, but that inspires imagery that makes you laugh or shocks you.
Yeah, I think you deliver them with such venom as well when the time comes. It's always great.
Well, what I liked was where the writer's brains are on fire and they have to put it out with a hammer. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
I think my favorite off the cuff one was when you called Boogie a retarded monster. You fucking retarded monster. It's
that's the thing. Some of them is so dull and blunt, but you just don't hear it, and so that's what makes it funny. It's like, oh, I've not heard the words put together like that. That's artistry right there, fellas.
It really is, yeah. It's a skill. Anyway, that is the last of the super chats. So I want to thank you guys for being as generous as you always are. Hopefully, we've answered all your questions today, and you will catch us again on the next open bar in a few days. But for now, that's all we got. So go away.
Bye.